The Koreans dominate on Nuke as expected, their hometown map, the one they play best on as we move into Cash coming up next. But Grayhound at least showed some signs of life towards the end here, guys.
Solo rolling back the years for MVP, posting 100 ADR in a game that I expected them to be dominant on Nuke. I expected them to win, but I would say, you know, as convincingly as they were, I think that was a little bit of a poor performance from Grayhound.
It's more like they didn't really know what to do, right? One thing you got to point out, the way MVP were playing, they had a plan in mind, a game plan in mind, and they stuck to that, right? Even if you look at the way they played anti-eco runs, many teams, obviously I'm not going to take Astralis' name, I think they played the best Nuke on the planet, but even if you look at some of the NA teams who are very used to playing Nuke, you'll see many times when you play the anti-eco, especially on the T side, they can get caught flat-footed, they can be caught, you know, in a trap, but the way MVP were taking their time, sweet time, how many times did you see Grayhound peeking for information, getting completely destroyed, right? There was a very well-played T side coming out from these guys, and yeah, Grayhound did manage to kind of bounce back, but I kind of felt like MVP, like, guys, it's 15 rounds. We have like a 10-round lead. We're going to lose this. So just take our time, and eventually they closed it out. A very convincing performance. I don't think none of us are very surprised here.
Nah, I wouldn't say surprised, but I think it's very admirable that they can win so convincingly. I think Grayhound at no point pressured MVP to a point where it was a little bit iffy whether they're going to win or not. As you said, they seemed to have the fundamentals down, and they had a pretty good idea of how they wanted to approach this game. Whereas for Grayhound, as you said, it didn't give me the feeling that they are ready, you know, for a map like Nuke, and that's going to be a problem because there's a great chance these two teams are going to face off one more time in this tournament. And if they have already like a secured win map going into a best of 3, that's a little bit of a brink in that armor that is a Grayhound right now. I think Grayhound is a great team, and I think they have a lot of potential, but their map pool is a little bit weak when you consider, you know, that Nuke is not a map they can play at all.
Yeah, and this is what it comes down to, right? For Grayhound especially, we spoke to them yesterday in that interview. They said, oh, when the pressure's off, then we play a bit better. Well, the pressure is off now because if you get knocked down, you're going to go to the lower bracket, and yet we're still not seeing that signs of life. So Cash has to be a real big change here for these guys.
And that's where we found ourselves a little bit surprised by the pick of Grayhound. Cash, again, a map that Australian teams usually play good on. I remember back in the days when I was playing in NA, you'd never wanted to practice Renegades or any of the Australian teams for that matter on Cash because they were just uncontrollable. And that's how they played it. They played it very aggressive, very assertive, very straight up forward, I would say, is a great word for it. So if they can put on that pressure on MVPK now, that would be a good thing for them. But I'm waiting to see this. I think this is a surprise pick for me, and I don't know what to expect from MVP.
I think, it is a completely surprise pick coming out from these guys, right? I really thought they would go with Mirage because that's a map. While MVP can play Mirage, it's something that Grayhound are very comfortable on, so I thought they'd plan to go for comfort play, right? Coming into Cash, here's the thing, which could be a problem for Grayhound. Now, Grayhound, if MVP, and bear in mind, these guys do take a lot of time practicing, not just like playing scrims, but they do have a pretty a surprisingly deep map pool, so to speak, right? And now, if you're going to be talking about Grayhound pushing it all over the map, like pushing it towards B apps, towards B halls, for example, pushing it towards mid, counter boosting, pressuring towards Squeaky. The thing was, if we see even a semblance of that T side for MVP, where they were very patient, they were very calm, very composed, they had all the angles covered, that aggression can just fall apart, and after that, it could be anyone's game, right? So, if you're coming to Cash with this pick, I need to see something really special for Grayhound, or else I really feel this going the way of MVP. They're looking solid as a rock at the moment.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I just want to see what MVP has to offer. You know, we now see Nuke. You know, that's a great map for them. That's their map pick. Do they have the depth? Do they have the strength? And do they have the know-how of how to play Cash against what I would call an Australian team with a lot of potential? One thing I do want to point out, and that's not to be annoying to any of the individual players specifically, but Dexter have seemed to trend it to sort of like turn out of the game, so to speak.
Yeah, he's dropped off a bit.
He dropped off a bit. He's supposed to be the star player of this Grayhound team. We saw him yesterday not play his best game. We saw him now here in Nuke being the worst-rated player so far in the game. He needs to step it up big time because he is, after all, the best player when he's flying high.
Well, is their bark bigger than their bite? It's time for Grayhound to make this work. It's Cash, and it is the moment they need to make it work. Can they take down MVP, or will we be going to a third map? Leading you through all of the game is going to be Hugo and Harry. Once again, over to you, boys.
Thank you, James. What could be the last map of this series, Harry? A very scary potential considering how strong MVP looked on that previous map. And I think we should echo what Pim said. You know, it's great. We did kind of think they would win Nuke, even though Grayhound play it. That's an expected victory. Time to really put them to the test. Time to send them into rocky waters. The map pick of Grayhound, I'm sure a map that Grayhound have definitely done some prep coming into. That's one thing that we can be sure of, right? Picking this against MVP, you're not going to come into this game unprepared. So what is that depth? Let's find out as we head into this. Get pranked. We're paused, but as we head into this map anyway, it's MVP on the T-side start.
Yeah, we don't want to get anyone too excited. We can't build the hype up too much just yet. Timing is everything, Hugo. You know, you can't. I was gonna. Well, yeah, you can't waste everything all in one go, right? We're building up. We're building these storylines. MVP currently yet to drop a map here at the Asia Minor. Obviously, the other team that had that same pedigree, that same title, Renegades, they lost it earlier. So MVP chance to keep the flawless streak up.
How crazy would it be considering Renegades only just won that game earlier, you know, in the grand scheme of things, if MVP won this 2-0 and went on to beat Renegades, showing that they're not unbeatable here in these playoffs. And we don't always need Tyloo to stop them, Harry. I mean, we're a long way away from that, right? But even as a concept, that'd be quite cool to see. MVP, for me, were one of the top 2 teams coming into this event. One of the teams that I definitely expect to see in that major.
Yeah, and I think, you know, just the difference is with this MVP team, you see they set each other up, and while they have great individual players, it feels like it's a lot more of a team effort, right? Like, in comparison to some of the other Asian teams, or even if you think to... Oh, I just had a... Where was I even going with that? I feel like I've just had short-term amnesia. Hugo, you know what? The game's back underway. I've forgotten whatever I was going to say. That doesn't matter. We've wiped the slate clean. MVP sitting 1 map up. They won out Nuke just moments ago. They're heading into cash. We can see Grayhound over on the CT side. That means MVP, they chose to start on this T side of the map. Flash being set up here by Sterling for Dexter, holding close to main. Ooh, uh-oh. That flash, while it does come in, and I'm sure it was great, I'm sure it might be worth it, has netted the early frag for MVP. Zeph able to follow up. And now this A bomb site crumbling around Grayhound. Man advantage gain for MVP, and that bomb down. Solo plugging in the numbers. MVP sitting in a 4-on-3 post plant. Time to rotate those players into main makes matters worse. That is where the bomb is planted for. So for Urcast rather, and Malta, they have to pick up the pace here. They do still have the smoke on Malta. They can look to throw that down at main, but they've lost him, and Solo finishing off the last man. MVP will secure the pistol round here.
It's so unfortunate that the first man to peek was the P250 player, right? He's setting up the flashbang, and then you get, you know, if a Glock peeks around that corner, you probably get the flashbang off and survive, but it's the P250, the one-shot range weapon. Especially against that non-head armor, of course. It is Grayhound now having to force things up. We saw this over on Nuke, but they had to save it with MVP. Very, very good on these anti-ecos, or anti-force buys at least. A couple of rifles, a couple of SMGs. A mixed bag here for the Koreans as they set up with this boost in middle, and already a default holding on to all portions of the map. This is more MVP letting Grayhound approach this round however they want, saying, okay, if you want to play aggressive, we'll hold for it. Wouldn't surprise us, considering it is that second round force on cash. You do like to see a lot of CT aggression on this map. A lot of map control and information can be gained. Mid is still under the control of Grayhound somewhat. They're not fully fighting it, but they've got 2 players on the connector spotting. Now that smoke goes down, and so Urcast can focus on this boost, and that's a great timing play, because MVP just set 2 players up here. It's common to see this when you go for an A-side execute, and these players burst over the top at the same time, but bomb looks to peak. So Urcast smoked off. He's going to spot the tag design, but forced off by the utility.
And that's his scout locked out of mid, at least for the time being. Now, Dexter's been thrown up in the boost up here on A, but as we know, one of the best ways of countering that is with the play up from Highway. So MVP going to be in a good spot to potentially deal with the man up on the boost, but that doesn't matter. They're going to bypass that completely as they turn their attention now toward this B bomb site. Dick, Stacy, and Malta. Here to try and hold back the coming tide of MVP, and Solo deals with that player over on truck. Still the two-man hold, and a flash on Dick Stacy. Going to get thrown over. That allows him and Malta to peek off of one another. 10 seconds. This bomb has to go down, and it's trying to cross into the bomb site. Dick Stacy trying to hold his ground, but he will just come short. As now Glow plugging in those numbers. Bomb down, 2v2, but weapons retrieved. Sterling with the AK. Dexter going to open up with the flashbang, pushing in, and there's Sterling with 1. Just Glow remains in the 1v1. Oh, I didn't think he was going to land that. Glow, 4 kills for him. He's the hero of MVP. There's smiles all around.
Absolute dirt. What a shot.
That's filth.
Yeah. And MVP, they got stuck there with 2 players on the bomb site, but great ability to actually close it out considering we had that AK up on the last player on Grayhound. I thought surely that'd be able to get the trade, but 2-0 for MVP now. Became very, very close thanks to that scout damage coming back to haunt some of these Ts, but a round is a round, Harry, and they have dealt with it. Now it's just the full eco from Grayhound and Solo. Already finding the 1-tap to Urcast. Great start. Dick Stacey here as well. Zeth is not watching it, and 4x3 will certainly mean he won't be able to see this angle from this position, so timing. Nate going deep. Dick Stacey, if he stands up here, it's range, but he should be able to get this kill. And there it is. Getting pushed from the top side, though, eventually traded. That being said, 1-for-1's a great here, considering you don't have anything invested, so, you know, there's Glow again, having a great old time. Yeah, sure, why not? Just, yeah, cool.
Seems totally reasonable to me. MVP sitting 3-0 up on the scoreboard, and it has been a tremendous start from Glow. 4 kills for him in the previous 3 in this one, so 7 kills over the last 2 rounds. All the good times keep on rolling for Glow as this first bite for Grayhound presents itself. AWP going to be out on Sterling. Rifles for everyone else. I think it's good that we see this AWP bought out early on. That was something that did make a difference in the slight comeback we saw from Grayhound over on Nuke. But it's been Dexter to open up. MVP now sitting a man down, leaving Zine over here at this B-bomb site just to keep an eye on any aggression that Grayhound might look to throw in. The rest of MVP setting up to try and secure A. And when this smoke falls, that's going to block Sterling off. They're playing this retake setup for the A bomb site. Just the presence of the AWP over here on Truck, and he will get locked out. Won't have a say in this round, at least not for the time being.
Zine on the B site is going to be a big question mark. If they get aggressive on this flank, he'll be able to catch them out. He'll also be coming very, very late into A. We'll see where from. Dexter looking to try and catch this cross. Now, Zephyr's gone unnoticed through the smoke, but he needs to watch towards his highway position because Dex is up above. Does get forced off the ladder, and Zephyr will get the kill. So 4-on-4 as that bomb comes down. It's not the clean 5-on-4 retake, but here's the flank that we've been waiting for. So patient for Zine. He can guarantee a kill and maybe even a second, but his attention drawn away from Dick Stacey is just the presence of Zine being there, being a nuisance for Grayhound. They're going to go ahead of it. They're going to continue to push, but they're so focused on this site. They're going to allow time for Zine to push in through the back line. Urcast finds one. Malta, same story. They jump on the bomb. Zine's just about getting here, but he has a Molotov. They smoked it off. He's sticking it, and Urcast is on the defuse. They won't be able to stop him. That will be the round for Grayhound. A nice try from MVP. The Molotov would have done the job, but that smoke was so well placed from the CT side. And considering the fact that Dick Stacey ran back to connector after getting shot in the back, it made me think this round wasn't even winnable for Grayhound, but they get it done.
How on earth is Urcast allowed to get away with that? Just in the smoke, balls of steel, 2 players spraying on in. He's dodging bullets like a madman, and that'll be the round for Grayhound. MVP back with a buy. The money not great for Grayhound. That one, of course, they do lose Cast at the very end, which means no one's surviving. It's pretty dire straits here for this CT side. Zeph boosted up and Cast on the other side. A standoff here at the boost. Who breaks first? Oh, this has really lasted a long time.
Yeah, these always do, though. Molotov over. This is going to be the time now. Even if they throw a flash, it'll be a deep flash, not for Urcast here.
Right, this is the trigger warning. There's a jump scare coming. This probably sounds horrible. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going on. Someone's going to peek at some point.
Props to Rush or whoever's observing for just committing to this.
Yeah, I'm glad we've committed to it. That's it. We're on board now. Oh, Zeph!
God damn it.
Damn you. Here's Urcast rearing his head. And that'll be then punished. Zeph hops down, and Urkast, he's rewarded for his dedication to the boost. That's why you don't give up. That's why you stick with it. 2-man advantage taken, and Urkast, he's going to keep on going. He's the gift that keeps on giving. This boost, there's a reason we stuck with it. Look what it's done. 4 kills for Urkast from the boosted position over in mid. And suddenly it's only Zine left standing. 8 seconds left on the clock. This is all said and done, and that will be Grayhound finding their second round.
Wow. Looked anticlimactic, Harry, but we got the result in the end of the day.
I thought it was going to be atrocious. I was like, great, we've just kept Rush on this for literally a minute and a half and missed the entire round. But no, it ends up being the play for Grayhound.
Great round for Urkast, and now Grayhound, they're not going to get reset into that rifle after winning 1 on the CT side.
Second big round from him in a row. The 2 rounds that Grayhound have, they can both attribute to him, right? Sticking the defuse in the round before, and then a big 4K up from that boost in that round there. We were looking for the stars to align and appear on this Grayhound roster, and it looks to be Urkast filling in that blank.
And he mollies it as well. Doesn't want any boost this time, and I think that's probably a good idea. Denying any early presence. That's a nice nade, but Zine does move away in time. Now, Dex is close towards main. We could see him get flashed into this position, but there's only 1 player, and he's hiding behind the box. There's a nade. Molly, rather. Zeph going to go wide, but he gets traded from Sterling. A 1-for-1 up in main. Not the worst of cases for MVP, and they do have mid in the meantime as the attention of Grayhound is drawn to the site. Urkast again in main, or at least close to. And Sterling's now watching his mid, so Urkast's going to strafe one in. Oh, he gets caught. It's Urkast again to open up this round, take back the man advantage. 4 on 3 here, and Solo's still trying to pressure the highway to get up into this A site. The bomb only now getting retrieved, and it's only a fake, and you can see the rotation from Urkast as well, somewhat aware of it, wrapping back in through the connector. And, oh, he might catch Solo off guard here. He's not suspecting the mid-peak, and there it is, Urkast again. The Mongolian monster having a mare on this round, tearing MVP. There's 2 players left up now for this T side. They've got to desperately take over this B site. Malta's going to go for the peak, but he gets the information. That might just be worth it. Dick Stacey's here with a flash as well. Malta gets taken down, and Dick Stacey dropped as well. No way MVP are going to be able to salvage this round.
Urkast once more looking to try and be that hero. Was toying with the idea of going through that smoke. Instead waits for Sterling on this rotation. He won't rotate up into the heavens. That re-smoke down in CT has done enough to hold them at bay for the time being. Urkast with 2 flashbangs actually electing to peek dry, and he's already out from the heavens. Ooh, just misses the timing, but he was able to dodge the shot on the drop down. Now, Sterling, he's dropped Zine. Urkast in with the other. The defuse can be found, and that's Grayhound in with their 3rd. By the skin of their teeth, they're able to pick it up. They recover nicely, and once more, Urkast really should just stand up and take a bow at this point, because once more, he is the saving grace for Grayhound.
Yeah, 3 kills in that round, and it almost seemed like MVP dropped the ball there. That retake was so late, it's like they didn't expect it to come through. Hadn't quite been caught moving off for the bomb site, but either way, it's going to be another round for Grayhound. They keep this one as close as can be, 3-3. And a pause coming out from them as well, their first of many. That's now broken the money of MVP, who are just relying on the loss bonus that has accrued over these previous few rounds, but it still won't be a full buy here for the Koreans. Grayhound certainly starting to look impressive in this game, as it was a 3-0 start for MVP, but taking into account those include those anti-ecos, anti-force buys. When it comes to pure rifle rounds, it's come up all Aussie. So 3-3 here. Half buy for MVP, who will have 4-round loss bonus coming into the next, so 2,900 as they keep a couple of grand and go for a B rush.
Yeah, standard as it gets. Dick Stacey is here along with Malta.
Ooh.
And oh,
hello.
This is the big Dick Stacey play. Cast rotates on in, because of course he can't go around with that frag, and he can't give Dick Stacey a big round. He likes to be the center of our attention, and he's been doing a fantastic job of doing exactly that. Solo, a 1v5 required, rotating in through mid. You don't imagine he finds anything. Maybe he's able to go ahead and grab a gun. That might be worthwhile, taking that out of this round, holding it into the next, but 1 minute and 10 seconds. There's all the time in the world. for Grayhound. You can see, I mean, they've repositioned 4 players over on the bomb. Maybe he finds Dexter here while he's alone, but even then, I don't think you'd anticipate a man still being at this A bomb site, and Solo, well, he is able to find it. So that's at least a weapon salvaged. Just under a minute left on the clock, and he is going to take a peek on in, see what he can find. And what he does find is Sterling over here towards CT, who might make mincemeat of the man. Sterling misses, but Molt is quick to peek and secure that 4th round for Grayhound.
Yeah, taking the lead now for the first time in this map. And in this series, interestingly enough. But MVP, they've got a buy ahead of them. AWP possibly, and yeah, Zeta's going to go for it. Forfeiting the head armor, but he's going to be able to at least have the orb, which is nice to see. Sterling having a bit of a battle now, and Zeta, slow start to this game, 1-7. Going to go very quickly outside of this B bomb site, ready and waiting. Sterling playing close to main as well, and we could see a bit of aggression. Oh, smoke is down, Zeph's on the other side, and Sterling, he's crept through. Zeph is none the wiser. Free kill there for Grayhound as they start things off with a 5-on-4.
Oh, flash of the main. Dexter's getting curious as to what there might be, and I don't think he quite spotted Solo there. Now I'm curious if this is going to come back to haunt Sterling. It might have been called that that left side of main was clear. They do re-smoke it, so at least that's not going to lead to any misinformation. A way of Grayhound coming back to punish them. Solo's out from main. He won't be ready for Dexter up on the rafters. And now Glow doubling back to retrieve the bomb. He has at least got that. Going to rejoin with the rest of his team over here at B. But only 20 seconds left in this round. You have to make up your mind, MVP. And the issue they're going to have is Urcast has heard everything. Pushing in through mid, hot on the heels of MVP. These rotations a long way away as Molt has opted to go aggressive and join up with Urcast. And MVP, they're not going for this round. They're just trying to save. And Urcast not letting them. Just tearing through the ranks of MVP. Glow can't go down after the time, and he does. As Dexter picking him up just moments after the clock hits 0. And that's now the money even thrown into disarray for MVP.
Yeah, that's on max loss bonus as well, so worst time to die after it. Unfortunate round there for MVP, but another just big play from Urcast, it seems. This man's keeping it up, 13-5. Said on the desk that Dexter needs to step up. Well, someone's filled his shoes. And it's not Dick Stacey because he's got far bigger feet, as we know. 5-3 here for Grayhound, and MVP with a tactical timeout, their first of this half. Didn't smell it this time.
Oh, Dick Stacey checking the old armpits.
Yeah. He made eye contact with the camera while he did it. That was the best part.
Yeah. He just is filthy, isn't he? But you love him for it.
Yeah. Oh, pistols here for MVP. Really not a lot to play with, especially on Glow. Dropped over a PT50. He didn't have any money here. So MVP really getting desperate for much in this round. Set up outside of the B site with the bomb in middle as well. Close position. Allows for that flank from Urcast, and he's armed well for what he's up against. Malta's the only question mark here, very close up. If he doesn't fall back, he could be overwhelmed by the sheer amount of CZs heading his way.
He does have Dick Stacey inside of the site with an Incendiary who could look to help and try and slow this play down. They might not need it though, because between them, they've mopped up the opening forces for MVP. Up in the vents, there's another man. That was Urcast, who pivots background and is able to deal with Zeph down in mid. Blink of an eye, it's Solo remaining and a 1v5 required, but just a CZ. Not going to happen. I hate to call this one in advance. Normally I'm a big fan of rooting for these impossible situations, but this one is a tall order. Grayhound will be picking up a... right? Yep.
Yeah, you called it.
That's fine, sure. Go ahead, do that, Dexter. Why not? And this is the thing, Grayhound, everyone was saying, one of the things about these Aussie teams, they used to be so good on Cash, they used to play this map so confidently. Pimp was even saying it back when he was out in NA, one of the teams you would hate scrimming against on this map would have been a team like Renegades. And we're seeing some of that confidence that we were lacking back on Nuke from the Grayhound gang. Everyone's laughing, everyone's having a good time. At least there's a buy available for MVP and a chance to try and grind their way back into this T side now. As they set up over here towards this A-bomb site, Zeph in main, glowing Squeaky, and Solo going to be holding back, playing that anti-flash position so that he can bail his teammate out in main. In the event Grayhound try and go aggressive at this portion of the map, they're not going to, instead boosting up Dexter.
Either way, smoke's going towards this A site, so it might be that quick burst from Squeaky. The bomb still back in middle. MVP, they're just trying to force utility out of the hands of Grayhound nice and early on. It's not coming. Still 4 incendiaries and a couple of smokes left up for these CTs. And they may even get aggressive on B as well. You can see Dick Stacy peering up into those halls. So MVP, I don't know what is about to hit them, but Grayhound getting overwhelmed to start. It's Zeph getting Dexter off the top of the box, catching him off guard. This wall of smoke still down on the site, and Malta, he's going to get mollied out into the open, but luckily the smoke's actually playing in his favor. Urcast has found a kill from the highway, but as they begin to fade, Malta might be able to get a spot through. He actually gives away his position and gets nothing for it. It's Urcast who has to step up, but caught in the open, caught off guard. It's Dick Stacy and Sterling looking for the 2-on-4.
Oh, flashed off the angle, Dick Stacy pushing in now. Trying to close the gap, trying to put these players under pressure. And Sterling, while he nades down one and is able to pick up the other, he's promptly traded by Solo. He was able to swing wide and get that trade. Good knowledge to go for it on him. Obviously trying to double peek, gets the timing right with the man over towards quad. Yeah, nothing all too flashy from MVP, just a standard A-side execute and everyone hitting their shots. All it takes for them to find a fourth, and now they are thrust back into a situation where they can very much get back into this game.
Yeah, huge streak from Grayhound, so you'd imagine they still have a few more tricks up their sleeve to break the money here of MVP while they can. A-side execute again, but with nothing really behind it, with no map control taken for MVP, with the exception of A main, I don't think they're going to execute straight away off the back of this. We do have nades being set up in Grayhound. They send the artillery in return, but they get damaged right before. Smoke again to the A site, does force out a little bit more utility from the man in the corner. That's Sterling with the AWP. Dex is still close in mid, and this allows for a fast wrap round. In fact, he's actually joined by Urcast, so we could have this boost up once again. The thing is, does Zeta catch it? AWP in play, and oh, they're going for it. Urcast, he wants seconds, Harry. He's hungry, and he might be able to catch it as well. Hearing the player push up through main, Zeph's already emerged onto the site and taken a kill. Now Sterling hasn't been found, and Urcast has finally given away his position. This could really catch MVP off guard, who are now down a man, hitting this B site. Dick Stacy not expecting them to be so deep. And with 25 seconds left on the clock, MVP do have that 3-on-3 with the bomb plant.
Ooh, but they deal with the man on the flank. And that gives them an opportunity, an opening. Man advantage gained. Zeta holding the vents push. And he's going to drop Urcast. The worst part about that is doesn't break the vents. So Dexter had to, making noise. Now they know he's here. Flashes himself in. Finds the first man and the second. The follow-up from Dexter. Bomb was planted for T main. So those are such crucial kills to find. If he only gets the one and done and it falls to Sterling in the clutch, then that should have been an MVP round. So the fact he's able to get both is massive.
I can't believe that didn't break the vent. That's unreal. Well, it could have come back to haunt Dexter, as you said. Could have been a big problem there on the retake, but luckily enough, his element of surprise was still enough to get them back into the bomb site, and there's the reset for Grayhound, the hard reset. $1,400 for MVP plus loss bonus. They're going to buy up. They've got to. It's not too bad behind it, but yeah, these executes have not been working out. Even with that nice fake there, it's a retake that works wonders for Grayhound. MVP, when they go for just a standard A execute, it seems like they can't get away with it. They always need to have a caveat. They always need to have a flank or something to catch out Grayhound, because these guys just seem so good as a squad on this CT side. Another burst round towards A potentially, but MVP, they've even conceded control of A main. We don't have anyone pushed into it, but just the deep smoke keeps these Ts out of taking control. With the boost up as well, allowing for the late mid flank. That might not be a flank with this bomb in play as well. There's smoke wall going down, but the thing is, there's still 2 players up on A right now, so this is meant to elude Grayhound and give the impression that they're pushing in through the vents, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the game plan here, unless these 2 players are both going to come in late on the flank. You'd imagine this bomb would sneak up towards the highway, as it shall, but lots of damage done through the smoke to Solo and Zeph. Certainly not resulted in a great start to the round. Now Sterling's here, Urkos gets dinked back. This is when the split should come out from the squeaky door. But Sterling, he's already found 2. There's another man at MBK that delays the push for 1, and Sterling's on his 3rd of the round. Solo's got to try and relieve some pressure, but he's got 20 seconds in a 1-on-4, and Urkos has already swung in wide. Great round for Grayhound. Very on top of the setup there from MVP, and nice shots hit by Sterling as well.
And this is really running a lot of parallels to that previous map. Only with the shoe on the other foot. It's Grayhound this time with a massive lead, and MVP seemingly looking stuck for ideas over on this T side. They have to take the eco now. So maybe a chance to pick up the pace, try and just see what a playing towards this A bomb site can get them.
The way it seems as well is Grayhound have definitely done their prep. They seem to know exactly what execute MVP are going for every single time, right? Every time, you know, smoke is thrown or a bit of control is taken, you see that B fake coming in with the mid cross smokes to get the illusion they're hitting vents. But Sterling's so focused on the highway. It just seems like Grayhound are 1 step ahead of MVP. We did wonder why they picked this map, Harry. It would make a lot of sense. So now with no utility and only Glocks, A burst.
Ooh. Well, they have managed to get out from Squeaky. Dexter's absorbed a couple of shots and Zion's able to polish him off. But yeah, no bomb plant, no joy for MVP there. Nine to 4. Present over on the side of MVP, but no AWP in place, and I want to go toe-to-toe with Sterling, and also Zion taking a hit. Gonna go ahead and relegate himself down to the Galil so that he can pick up the extra utility in this round. Ooh, but a switch up from Grayhound. This time, much more active stance over towards mid early on. Urkos gonna hear this boost getting employed, and he does get caught off guard by it. Didn't look entirely ready, and they were hardly discreet about it. Flashes over mid, much faster round this time from MVP, and the blistering pace, combined with the fact that they've shot Dick Stacy in the face, nets them this A bomb site, and perhaps most importantly, the 4v1 in the post plant. It feels like there's no way that Sterling gets back into this.
Yeah, you definitely think MVP must be, you know, guessing they should have done this a lot earlier now, with so many slower rifle rounds that were just dominant for Grayhound. MVP, they still have 1 more of the half to play after this, and they can get themselves a 6th without a doubt if they keep up this pace. Now Sterling looking to try and make it costly. He's found Zion. Doesn't want to give away this AWP, most notably, because while Grayhound had the money for the last round of the half, MVP certainly don't, at least for the AWP. To be honest, I would like Sterling to just throw this gun out of the map, because it won't make any difference to the save. Of course, he'd rather get away with the kills. No one chased him down, so it wasn't a problem, but 9 to 5. MVP starting to find their footing at the end of the half after realizing maybe we should speed things up here on the T side of Cash, and it works out wonderfully. Some big kills from Zeta, who has been having a bit of a slow performance, definitely stepping up in the latter stage of this half, and now full AKs again. Let's see if MVP keep this one clean and fast, or if Grayhound already once again. Already back towards a B default for these two players. Getting the boost coming through. It's actually a main stack waiting for Dexter to jump up, but not ready for it. Zeph will get picked off early. Dexter in for seconds. The Molotov will keep these Ts out of main, and that's a great start for Grayhound. If he can fall back, give the main control, it won't be a worry because we have these CTs sitting with a man advantage.
X-ray off, Zine. Waiting for this peek, and in the meantime, Dexter got aggressive in main. That's the bomb dropped. Zine, well, he's able to drop Malta. The angle that he had the feeling about, you know, was so sure that there could have been a man in. It turned out there was. Dick Stacey is the boogeyman he's heard so much about. Sterling now back at this bomb site. Missed shot, uncharacteristically so. Has to drop the incendiary at his feet to try and slow this down, but Glow already up and past it. Zeta left in the 1v2 is Urcast once more from the highway. The saviour for Grayhound. 10-5 at the end of the first half. The Aussie team looking good. MVP trailing behind. Can they recover, or will we head on through to map number 3? Find out after the break. Grayhound setting themselves a bit of a pedigree here on Cash, looking like a different breed. Up 10-5 right now. Completely different team than what we saw over on Nuke. They're definitely looking more at home here within the realms of Cash. And they're looking now to try and get that pure bread. Over here toward this B bomb site, 5 players setting up, and Grayhound going to flash themselves around the corner. Smoke for CT, smoke for Heaven. Molotov for the headshot as well. They can nullify almost all the angles in which MVP sit, and now that just leaves them to win these fights, but they actually haven't thrown in the utility over on Urcast. This has allowed the Pika from Heaven barreling through that smoke in CT, gonna be Zeta, and that's the round. MVP, 5 players staying alive. It looked like everything was gonna fall into place there for Grayhound. They get the early dink, they're able to find some damage, they have all the utility to make that play happen. But it just comes to a rather jarring halt the second these initial couple of frags don't go their way.
So there was a flash, I think, from Heaven from the CT side that blinded not only the man in the trench, but also both the enemies. And it wore out on him first, so he was able to kill both of them. It was Zeta and Zeph combining for the damage. Oh dear, that's such an awkward round to lose for Grayhound, and now they're on the full Glocks. Dexter even going to get tagged by the nade as he tries to get into main. That's a great start from MVP, but it's not a worry really for Grayhound. It's only pistols. It should be a mop-up, and Zeta will make it so. Cross is being held by the MP9, and the M4 getting all the damage done on the site. 3 for Zeta, 7 for MVP. The start of the comeback, Harry, but there's a long road here. Grayhound still 3 above, with AKs as well as they head into this buy round. But considering how prepped and how good they looked on the CT side with really nice setups, constant changes in aggression, especially down towards middle, I think they would be just fine on this T side. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, another thing to note, you think about how many of those rounds came down from massive individual performances over on behalf of Urcast. You hope that if he can keep them up, you know, you can just use him to spearhead these offensives into bomb sites, try and create some room. Now this round, you can see MVP boosting solo up and into middle. We've already seen how effective this can be, and that's why Sterling is there to keep an eye on it. Try and disallow any vision towards this portion of the map, and as his B play comes in, you can almost bet the solo will look to barrel on over. They lose glow inside of the B bomb site almost immediately. Bomb goes down, and in a 5-on-4, so much utility still up over on the side of Grayhound. I'm curious if MVP are even going to give this one a look into.
It's going to depend on what Zeph can get done, and he has started off the element of surprise from the back of the vents. Dexter dropped, but now that's alerted this cavalry. They're going to move in here. The double peek from Heaven, finding a 1-for-1, and the molly forces out Dick Stacy. He burns in at post-kill. It's solo in the 1-on-1, but he doesn't have a kit to play with. Just found one on the site, and we'll just jump on this bomb, but Sterling's already on the back line, spraying away. And too little time. Solo might have been able to take the fight, but it's unlikely Sterling would have given him the full duel. It is going to be the retake, or the post-plant successful for Grayhound, rather. 11-7.
That was one of the most back-and-forth rounds of Counter-Strike I've ever seen. I've never seen a round with just such instantaneous trades. Players dying to Molotovs to get traded. Comes down to that 1v1, as you say, so a narrow victory for Grayhound, but still one they're able to pick up. And that will be the reset onto MVP. No money left for the CT side, and now a chance for Grayhound to continue to build this lead up. 4 players going to try and peek into main. Try being the operative word there. Zeph, 1v5, don't fancy his odds, and this is going to be Grayhound securing a 12th round.
And the 1 kill that Zeph might have been able to get outside the B site has just backed off. So, yeah, all grouped up on Grayhound, and Zeph is in the wrong place at the wrong time. That being said, I don't think pushing main 30 seconds earlier would have been too much different. He's going to run up towards his car. Urcast finds a kill, and Grayhound starting things off on this T side quite swimmingly, despite the pistol being taken from MVP. They've been very good at getting these pistol wins, that being MVP. 4 out of 4 in the series, as far as I'm aware, as well. So very, very strong. 12-7 here for Grayhound. 2 SMG still on play. They're running a bit of a bonus, and this buy is coming through for MVP, but it's fine for Grayhound. Bonus round is a good idea when you've got this much money, and still a heavy lead, so a reset potential if they do lose it. Oh, main. Oh, squeaky push spotted. Malta just going to molly it off and fall back. Doesn't want anything to do with that. Solo will stay in position. But they should expect this later in the round if they come to check it, because Zeta's just moved in with the AWP as well. Any close main players should be able to hear the amount of CTs that are in the squeaky. And now they just claimed it as their real estate. Smoke down. No one to be able to stop it here from Grayhound. Now we're going to see Solo deep molly, and this section's off Sterling from the rest of his team, and they're going to get aggressive with no flashbang though. Both players tagged very low. The Orb can't finish off the kill, and it's gone down. Sterling needs to find both, and he does, opening up the A site. Definitely not a necessity on that push there for MVP, and they are going to come to regret it unless Zion can step up and save the day. He can't. A 1-for-1 in a 4-on-2. Grayhound have got A.
Yeah, Sterling withers the storm over in main, and where some might look to build shelter, he built windmills. Turned that push from MVP, something that looked very advantageous for them, into a huge advantage for Grayhound there. Spots that the AWP has missed the shot, knows he already tagged up the first man and was so keen on taking those fights, had so little to lose, he was trapped and left to fend for himself, and ultimately he's the man to lock in this round for Grayhound. Dexter even going to go as far as to drop Glow, and that means only Zeph hiding in the back of a van will be able to hold on to this M4. 13-7, Grayhound. As has been a bit of a reoccurring theme, going to keep MVP's economy down in the dumps, keep them on the back foot, a chance to pick up a 14th round here because you don't imagine this buy comes through.
Even if it does, it's going to be weak as anything anyway. So yeah, 14 rounds should be the case for Grayhound in just a moment. And what a recovery this has been, considering the beating they received on Nuke, especially in that first half. They have just sent it right back. 13-7. One of the last chances here for MVP coming up in the next round. It's going to be the solo rifle here, but Zeph already dinked down to 3 HP. He may as well give that over to someone else. Basically useless him holding it now, considering he's only 1 shot away from death, but there's no one else to give it to because everyone else is dead too. A couple of kills in this round is going to be everything. Molotov does burn Zeta, and the bomb dropped, but surely this won't mean anything. Zeph's in a 1v2, but 1 bullet away.
Yeah, 3 HP in the dream, and you can see it's the worry about Sterling's presence still over towards mid that worries him now, but now that he's seen him in main, he knows the whereabouts of both these players. Sterling, 1 shot was all that was required. He's going to land it.
And this is it, Harry. The last chance, the last full buy from MVP, unless they start picking up rounds here in the second half.
Yeah, potentially the last stand here on Cash. And it might be Cash that doubles down as the problem for MVP. The lack thereof it on their CT side has been a reoccurring nightmare of which MVP have been stuck in. Now Dexter's got the AWP early here for Grayhound. You imagine that was spawn-based because you can see he took that early peek over towards B. This main play, something that Grayhound have normally been so good at countering, finally going to yield some results for MVP. They pluck both players from the ranks of Grayhound over in main, even losing the man in Squeaky. Now boosting a player up. Can see Zeta throwing up into the boost from atop the crow's nest. He has the vision of this A-bomb site that allows them to afford this rotation of Zeph. Back towards CT. Still only 1 man inside of the B-bomb site, but Glow wins his fight separately, and now it is just Dexter in the hot seat. A 1v4 required. MVP looking to stay afloat here on Cash.
Scope when he's far away. No one's going to hear that, but sound doesn't matter when Solo hits you in the face. MVP, a nice clean round at least, right? If they were going to win that round, it had to be clean, because alternatively, they win it, they keep 1 player surviving, and they can barely get a buy up into another round where they're up against facing 15. So 4 guns will continue to be employed for MVP, but all it takes is 1, Harry. 1 single round for Grayhound to at least guarantee that overtime here in map number 2. 2 for them to take us to a 3rd. That map, of course, being Dust 2 coming up after this one, if this does go the full distance. And right now it is looking that way. Not to count MVP out, but rare to see these kind of comebacks. Zeph now mollied out. He's going to have to try and cross. Does manage to get into the corner, but so many more Molotovs to finish him off. He's found himself a gap. Now they could catch out Malta, but drop in. Nade will do some damage at least, but nothing too crazy. Zeph going to decide to back off, and he does get a second chance at life here. He may as well focus on using all his utility while he can. His gunfights are difficult on 10 points of health. Grayhound will set up outside of this B site, looking somewhat convinced. The smoke to cut off the checkers. Molotov will delay this push, but there's still no rotation coming through. And if you look to middle, Grayhound is still boosting a man up, getting Urcast in position to catch a flanking player. They could even bail with the bomb, but right now it is looking to be that full B push. Glow waiting for contact, and now with the smoke going over, this will be the execute.
Yeah, Molotov to make things feel claustrophobic inside of this bomb site. Zeph was previously tagged. But they're not able to finish it. Bomb dropped, and 30 seconds left. This push is all but grinded to a halt for Grayhound. Sterling and Dick Stacey doing what they can. Dick Stacey caught crossing into CT, smoke down to facilitate this cross, and the last man up for MVP a long way away. Sterling and Malta both brought down very low, leaves them vulnerable to this Molotov over on Zine. But with Urcast and Sterling inside of checkers, might be checkmate for Grayhound in this round. Zine, first shot lands, a 1v3 required on 20 HP, and it's just not happening. Grayhound will reach map point here on Cash. Now just 5 kills or 1 round away from taking us through to a third map.
And what a series this has been. A huge comeback for Grayhound. Obviously into the second map rather than getting decimated on Nuke. MVP now piecing together their money, but Harry, as we mentioned, while they got 4 players surviving in the previous round, it was that reset. So MVP, pistols on 2, FAMAS, AUG, M4, far from a perfect buy, and Grayhound want to speed up the pace, completely catching off guard. One player here, Solo going to trade 1 for 1, but already a man down as it's Urcast, the absolute king of Cash. 28 kills. MVP going to double back to this A-bomb site with 2 of the 3 remaining players, but Grayhound are far from committed, and they don't need to be. That double kill came only 20 seconds into the round, and now they're going to go back in for more with the boost in again. Connector getting smoked. 1 player did make his way into middle, 2 being spotted. This could open up the possibility of them just rushing a bomb site, but it seems like Grayhound want to deal with the problem while they can, and a great shot from Urcast. 29. He might even hit the 30 bomb here in the final round, unless Glow and Zeta can stop him on this B site. It's Malta with an entry, it's Glow alone, and he will be falling 16 rounds to Grayhound. They are going to be bringing us all the way over to Dust 2 for that third and final map. Size of relief from Dick Stacey, and that was really a grind, but they're going to be able to get it done. So join us in just a moment for that final map of the series to see who will be going on to face Renegades in the upper bracket final.